So, we just talked about Avogadro's number, and what is Avogadro?
6.02
Six.
times 10 to the 23rd particle.
Alright, so
Hey.
what we're talking about today, this is the number that we need to know. Alright? Alright? So, when we're talking about Avogadro's number, it can mean more than just one thing. It means that however many atoms I have. It can also mean how many molecules. Or it could also mean how many formula units. Alright, so who can tell me what's the same thing as Avogadro's number?
The mole.
That's right, so the mole. The Avogadro number is the same thing as a mole. And we use this to determine how much something weighs or its mass. So let's say I have 6.02 times 10 to the 23 atoms of hydrogen. How much will 1 mole of hydrogen weigh?
62,000,000.
Alright,
It
so
wouldn't be 6.026. I think that's not it.
that's not it, right? Because that's how many atoms. But let's say I have that many atoms of hydrogen, which is 1 mole. How much would 1 mole of hydrogen weigh? What is its mass? I'll give you a hint. It's in the periodic table.
1.01.
That's right, 1.01.
Oh.
So 1 mole
Yeah.
of hydrogen equals 1.01. Alright, 1.01 what? Good, what's its mass?
Gram.
Times
Gram.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's say I have 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms of gold, which is AU. What is its mass?
Hey, you. Like 59. I got 81.
195.97.
195.97 grams, right? Alright.
Gold is 196.
196.97.
196, okay, depending on which periodic table, it may vary a little
It's
bit.
this one.
But we'll go with 196 to round it up, and that'll be okay, right? Alright, so now, does it make sense what a mole is?
Yeah.
So if I say I got 1 mole of oxygen and 1 mole of carbon, what's the difference?
Different
11.
atomic number
11.
makes a different
Uh,
weight.
Oxygen will be bigger. than
13.99.
Carbon's
I mean,
bigger.
3.99.
Okay, so what are you finding the difference? That's right.
You subtract.
Yeah, subtracting.
So the only
Oxygen,
difference is gonna be the mass, right? So if we talk about a dozen, if I have a dozen of donuts and a dozen of eggs, how many dozen, or how many eggs and how many donuts do I have? 12.
12.
If we're talking about eggs,
And
right?
donuts, you have 24.
We have a total of 24, right?
Yeah, 2 dozen.
Okay. So let's say, can we say that they're both gonna weigh the same?
No.
No.
No, but they still, the quantity is the same for each, right?
Yeah.
That's what a mole is. Avogadro is just the same thing as saying a mole. Alright? So now it said that the mass of water, H2O, or 1 mole weighs 18.01. How they get that number?
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
So if I have 2 hydrogens, what is mass?
One.
30.
Point.
1.01, right? How many oxygens do I have?
One. So
It'd be 16.
16.
I know that stuff now.
It's easy stuff, right?
It'd be 18.02.
So if I say, how do you figure out the mass if I have 1 mole of any molecule, what do I have to find?
Your atomic number. I mean, your atomic mass.
That's what each thing is called, but what's the whole thing called? Mole, but it tells you right there.
It's like molecular, isn't it?
Molecular what?
Molecular atom.
Look at your papers.
Well, it's at 18.01, this is 18.02.
That's right.
Molar mass.
Molecular mass.
The molecular mass, that is correct.
Oh.
So, in order to figure out how much the mass of a mole is for any molecule, we have to calculate the molecular mass, right? So we can also say 1 mole is equal to the molecular mass. So go ahead, and this is what we're going to do. Let's do a little bit of review, and let's figure out the molar mass for these four. 1, 2, 3, and 4.